And yes, my camera's off. Welcome, everybody, to another beautiful day. And it is Memorial Day for my American brothers and sisters. I see you. Let us do a reminder today because the all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Memories are of the mind. Well, the body, but we'll get to that. So, today, as we go through the day, what are you going to call to mind? What will you remember? What will you be grateful for? What? You find something, anything, and you allow yourself to be grateful for it. It doesn't matter what that something is. It doesn't matter what that something is. Find it and be grateful for it. Why? Because as we know, today is Memorial Day, memory. So if we're going to use our memories, let us be deliberate with them. Because memories, see, are stored in your subconscious mind. So if you choose a memory that, you know, hmm, is heavy and dark and brooding, what do you possibly think the day will be like? But if you choose a memory to say, you know what, I can recall this person and what they did to help us, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. And the more you do that today and you go through it and you see it, something happens to you when you do it. Because it's quite like if you're looking for something to complain about. Oh, you'll find it. Oh, you'll find it. But what if you look for something to be grateful for? Well, I don't know what to be grateful for, Angela. Oh, you can walk, you can talk, because there's some who cannot. But that's not to say that some people have it easier than others. We're not in comparison with anyone else. What we are looking at is our own lives to say, oh, I like this about my life. Well, I could stand to improve that one. Oh, okay, well, I'm grateful for this aspect of my life. These are things that we take for granted because we get caught up in all the other things that are going on that seem to be louder than our own internal thoughts. When that happens, when you find yourself being bombarded by external noise, turn the noise down within yourself. Well, how would you do that? By checking your thoughts. And if you don't know what you're thinking, that's okay. You will always know how the body feels. If you feel like you have to drag it through the day, what's going on there? We're we're not always going to have a beautiful day. The thing with the law is this. The law is not asking you to be happy all the time, to be perky all the time. That's not what the law is doing because the law of rhythm tells you that can't happen. Why? Because there's an ebb and there's a flow. There will be times when you're ho hum and there'll be times when you're yay. But the one thing that does not change is your what? Your knowledge of the law and how to apply it. That is where we become consistent. We become consistent in that knowing. What is that popular scripture? My people perish for lack of knowledge. The knowledge of the law, mentalism, vibration, I lie, correspondence. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, gender. Those are the laws that govern all of creation, and you see them when you go outside. You see them when you go outside. We are governed by them. Whether we know those laws or not is irrelevant. We are governed by them. It keeps the sun up. It keeps our feet on the ground. Gravity. They are always there. So it doesn't matter if you are happy, sad, indifferent. What matters is, do you know the law and are you living consciously by it? That is what matters. The law, funny enough, doesn't change. And the only thing constant is change. But the law is above that because the law is infinite. Finite things, you, me, trees, they have to change because they are governed by law, so they must change. That is why you don't beat yourself up if you say you're having a bad day. What you do though is you look at it and say, what are the facts about this day? As opposed to my feelings about the day. The facts are the law. What does the law say about the day? It says, shoot, you're not going to be upset all day because you can't be. Ebb and flow. But you know what we do? We have learned to keep ourselves in this inanimate suspension of taking a bad mood through the whole week. That is unnatural. Ebb and flow. So when you have these memories in your mind, because today is Memorial Day, what memories will you call to mind? What memories will you call to mind? It doesn't matter if you believe in Memorial Day. Irrelevant. Always use the law. Always. It doesn't matter what the day is. What matters is, where are you with the law? Where are you with the law? We are always in alignment with law, just so you know. We can't not be, because we are governed by law. We're governed by it. So today, as you go through the day and you call up particular memories, pay attention. Pay attention to those memories. Because you'll know how they make you feel. And do you want to feel that way? Remember polarity. She whispers, hey, where are you now? Where do you want to be? This is what she says. At every moment of the day, that's where our minds should be. Always on the law. Or you'll get your work done. Don't worry about that. You'll get your work done. You use the law, you'll get the work done efficiently and effectively. Because you'll see how to create the shortcut. There's a difference between a shortcut and cutting corners. The shortcut is how can you do it more effectively with using less energy. The law will show you. Always. But this is why we have to remind ourselves of the law on a daily basis. This is why we do it. It keeps us in check. It keeps us balanced. It keeps us focused. It keeps us protected. Right? I know, of course, it seems, but that's a lot of work. It is only practice. Practice is what will make it easier. Right? So that we don't get caught up. We don't have our minds flooded by the thoughts and opinions of others. We have a scripture. What does it say? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what? Powers and principalities. It is a mental war. Everybody's looking for World War III. We are in it. It is a war on the mind. It is a war on the mind. And if we are not cognizant on a daily basis, meaning if we are not paying attention, no one has to destroy you. No one has to save you. Why not? It is all in the mind. It is all in the mind. Just simply plant the seed of an enemy, and we'll run around looking for one and destroy ourselves. Do you not see how powerful your mind is? And it's not mind as in brain. It is mind as in your awareness of yourself. What are you aware of? Consciousness is the awareness of one's self. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? That is consciousness. And you see, the beautiful thing about the consciousness is you now can use it. Of course you can. But you see, what had happened was, back in the day, we were taught, you're not conscious. You're like the beast in the field. You just get to be controlled. That's what we were told. So we believed it. Because we were told it over and over and over and over again. When in actuality, by way of law, you are meant to think for yourself. That is what you were designed for, sovereignty. So that's why I say to you today, a reminder is to be the one in control of your thoughts. Be the one to put them there. Yes, there's 8 billion of us on the planet, and that's all right. We're not all going to see eye to eye. We're not all going to believe the same thing. But we are all governed by the same laws. So it is up to you and me to remind ourselves on a daily basis. And I always say start with the gratitude because it's easy. It's easy to look at your life and say, I like that about my life. Oh, I like this. I like that. I like this. Because when you look at what it is you like, now you can say, all right, well, over here needs a little bit of tweaking. I can tweak this part over here. I can change this part a little bit. And you learn very quickly not to judge. Oh, but you make it sound so airy-fairy and flowery and easy, Angela. Well, I will say this to you. The same way we sit and we reminisce about the not-so-good things, we're sitting and reminiscing. So what's the difference between sitting and reminiscing about the good things or sitting and reminiscing about the bad things? The point of the matter is you're sitting and reminiscing. So just pick the one that makes you feel better. That's how we do it. We call it a dopamine hit, don't we? To feel good. Endorphins. That's why you do it. So that when you encounter a day that is unsavory, a bad day then, you can get yourself through it. You can get yourself through any situation. You can get yourself through any situation. Any situation. Because situations are effects. And what does the law of causation tell us? Every cause has an effect, but every effect has a cause. So you're never stuck. So that's the reminder today. Let's take a moment to welcome everyone into the space. Jeff, Meep, L, you are here, my beautiful friends on Twitter. It is so good to see you on such a lovely morning. A lovely morning it is. Fanbase, Medcom, Summer Rose, Jamea, Miss McQueen, Coco Love, Zola is here. Thank you all for being here and for the love this morning on Fanbase. It is appreciated. I see you all. Facebook is here. And YouTube, Marjorie. Hello, David. Mercedes, Sherelle, Asonia, Cyber. And for the others who have not made themselves known in the chat, that's okay. I see you. The replay gang, I see you too. It is good to have you all here. This morning, this Memorial Day, what will you remember? Make it a good one. The reason being, like I was telling my boy at the crack of dawn, when you think a particular way about yourself, that is what will drive you through life. That, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not this. Oh, I'm not that. Why do I say that all the time? Because that's where people usually are in their mindsets. The vast majority of people are right there. Oh, I can't. Oh, it's impossible. For those of you who are not there, whew, I'm throwing confetti. But you see, when we stop and we think like that, when we entertain those thoughts and we feed them, feed me, Seymour. When we do that, now they run your life. And we say things like, God is punishing me. The universe is against me. We say things like that. When in actuality, it is just our thoughts that we have entertained over time. I keep telling you that habits, it's an action, thought or word, that we do the same way every time. So now that you know what a habit is and how to make them, notice we don't break them. You just make them. And the more you do the new habit, the old one just fades into the background. The neural pathway has been created. Right? So when you begin to see what habits are driving you, now you can snap your finger and say, hey, that's not what I want. Let me remind myself of what it is I want to experience. What am I thinking? That's what I really see myself as. And so now, when you start to see yourself as being phenomenal, that mindset will get you through anything. That mindset will be enough to polarize you so that you don't have to stay longer where you shouldn't. That's the whole point. Oh, but Angela, what about the law governs all? So it doesn't matter what situation you may possibly think is overwhelming. It doesn't matter what you think it is. Where's the law? What does the law have to say? What are the facts about the law? As opposed to where you currently are now. Allow it to assist you at every turn. Allow the law to assist you at every turn. It's not enough to get up and just like a leaf on the wind, you know. You have the ability to direct your day. Then let us use it. Remind yourself of that. Oh, I got this. I got this. Oh, I got this. That's how you remind yourself on a daily basis. Again, you don't always have to be happy. That has nothing to do with it. Your emotions are not part of the equation. Your emotions are there because they're a burst of energy. To do what? Impress your subconscious mind. Mercedes. I used to think like that, but then I recognized it was a projection from these people onto me. From childhood that happened. It took me a while to realize I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. Of course, Mercedes. That's exactly it. It is a projection. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What law is that again? Right, correspondence. So if someone is being rude or derogatory to you and insulting you can rest assured that's how they feel about themselves. And when you know that that's how they feel about themselves, you will know a few things. You'll know that, oh, that's a projection. That's not my problem. That's how they feel about themselves. And what will that allow you to do? That will allow you to move through the day and just let it roll off of your back. Because it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. But if you don't know that, now you take offense to everything that's happening. Now you take offense. Oh my, how could you be so rude? How could you hurt my feelings? And then what? You continue to feel bad about yourself when in actuality, it's not yours. You don't feel bad about yourself. You've allowed someone to convince you that you should feel bad about yourself, is what you've done. But see the truth. Indeed. And I was talking to my son about that this morning, about the importance of childhood experiences. You see, we take a lot of things for granted. Like when you have a new baby. Yeah, they're cute and they smell nice. Sometimes. But you hug them, you kiss them, you speak to them. Why? Because the neurons in their brains are firing, they're forming pathways of information. So if you take away the stimulus, and you don't make eye contact with your baby, you don't whisper sweet things to your baby, you don't touch your baby, you don't smile at your baby, the neural pathways and the neurons can't develop. Well, then what happens when they don't develop? Oh, science is telling us what? Personality disorders, all these kinds of things. When in actuality, all that is required is to hold the baby, speak to the baby. This is how they learn to speak, by you speaking to them. So you see, everything has its purpose, cause, and effect. So when you look back on your life, right? That's what we came out of. So this is why, again, because I was talking to my boy, he's wide awake. I was talking to him, and he was asking me these things. And I said, well, it's not that my childhood was rosy, but I had to put things into perspective. When your mother is 14 and you're born, I can't expect her to love me the way she should. She doesn't even know how to do that. But I didn't know. So my itty bitty feelings, because I'm just this itty bitty thing, right? Started to say, oh, well, you're unwanted. Well, look at that. She doesn't want you. She doesn't care about you. When in actuality, those are feelings. But because we are children at the time, we do not have developed discernment, which means to see the fact. The fact is, she's a child herself. She knows no better. That is not my fault. That does not mean I am unwanted. That does not mean I am not valuable. So I had to come to terms and understand that. Took me a while. Because when you hear your whole life, when you hear that, you have to put it into perspective. So that's why we remind ourselves. If you are going to take the time to reminisce about your life, and you look back at it and you say, oh, it was crappy. Is that a feeling? Or is it fact? Is it law? Remember what Paul says: when I was a child, I spake as a child, I behaved as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Which means what? Your childish interpretations. We have discernment now. That's why when you recognize a projection, you know it is not yours. You don't pick it up and run with it. You do not allow somebody who's having a bad day to come along and cuss you out. You're like, oh, projection encountered. Let me dodge that. You don't even have to cuss them out. You don't have to put them in their place. Why? They can't hear you. You, on the other hand, know exactly what's happening. So you move accordingly, act accordingly. That's what we do because we are no longer at the mercy of anyone else. So when you remind yourself of your experiences that you've come through, oh, but Angela, the depression is so heavy. Those are habits, they are habitual memories. Remember, the more you play with that memory, the more you sit in the presence of that memory and bask in it. What are you doing? You are doing the same thing the same way every time, which is making a habit of the way you feel. It is not a chemical imbalance in the brain. It is not. Science is telling you that now. But what you will get is the law of correspondence. The more you reminisce about those kinds of things, thoughts, and feelings, the body must register them. So it has to show up in your body to tell you what's going on, what you're thinking about. That's why you can't get out of bed. So today, remind yourself of the law at all times. Remind yourself of the law at all times. When you think in a high vibrational thought, uh, law vib- law vibrate no low vibrational beings come around to feed off of you. Let's address this. I understand what you're saying. Thoth did mention something about that. He called them the Dark Brothers. But I will say this to you. If you are high vibrational, which means you live according to law consciously, right? When you're there, you are protected. Do you know why you're protected? Even though low vibrational people come around, you cannot, according to law, unless you lower you, we will be parallel to them because the vibrations are not the same. We're going to be parallel. We're running side by side. But the minute we intersect, now, if we intersect with them, we have lowered our vibration to say, I got time today. But when you see a low vibrational person running parallel to you, you see it. Because you can see it, it does not mean they will take from you. No one takes unless you give. Mercedes, does that make sense? Nobody can take from you unless you give it. It is an exchange, cause and effect. So be mm, we cannot be afraid of living our lives at a particular vibrational level because we think we're going to be fed off of. Think about that. The law always sustains you. You can't exhaust the law. So if you need a boost, draw from the law. You need rest, draw from the law. It doesn't matter what you need, the law sustains. Look around you, you'll see. It sustains you at every turn. So we don't have to worry about, oh no, that low vibrational. No. If your mind is on the low vibrational person who you think is going to come and feed off of you, then there you are. You're giving it to them because your mind is on them. They have your attention. And if they have your attention, then energy flows where attention goes. You are feeding them. At no point are we victims. I trust that makes sense. You see, this is the beauty of the law. If you could only see, where is the better man? I do not see him this morning. Empress Ella. But when you see it, somebody asked a question in a forum. They said, I can't seem to maintain my state. There is one state. I am. I am. That's the state. Well, how so? Let's break it down. You're the creator of your experiences. I'm the creator of my experiences. That's it right there. That's the state. I create my experiences. But you see, what we're taught in the manifestation community is become the thing. Become the thing. Your mindset is simply, I create my experiences. I create them all. And here's how I create them. I create them because I have that thought in my mind. And over it's there. Correspondence, as within, so without. So it's not that you have to become the thing, the inanimate object. It is that your mindset has to be, I am the creator. And what I create, I get to experience. Because that causes you now to constantly check yourself, your memories. Will you give in to them? Or will you put them in their prospective places? Will you learn from what you've done? Or will you allow yourself to continue as you are? That's the beauty of the law, day in and day out. Oh, but Angela, you say it every day. You got that right. How does the subconscious mind get programmed? By repetition. By repetition. Faith comes by hearing. Call it confidence instead of faith. Comes by hearing the word. The more you hear something, you know this. For the longest time, we've heard that carrots are good for eyesight. But allegedly, that was told to the pilots in World War II. Allegedly. I can't verify it. I remember reading it, and I was like, oh, proretinol A, okay. But that's what I mean. How long have we heard that? That carrots are good for eyesight. Doesn't matter what it is. The more you hear it, that's where you form your belief from. So when I tell you to use the law every single day and I show you where the law is in the world, you'll start to see it for yourself and you'll start to use it for yourself. But you'll know it's not my opinion. I'm never giving you an opinion. I give you the law. Use The law. What are the laws? Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. What does that mean? It means if you think it persistently, you will see it. Period. this is what it is. You're thinking it persistently. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. We think about people and they call us. We think about a particular thing and then bam, you see it there. It is the law of correspondence. As within, so without. All day, every day. The law is ever before us. So let us be bold and use it. Because here's the kicker, right? Whether you use the law or not, you're still governed by it. So you may as well use it to create the life you actually want. You might as well. Because if you make it a habit to beat yourself up by way of law, if you're constantly beating up yourself and judging yourself, that is what you will continually live out. So if you know that part, now it becomes simpler to say, oh, well, you know what? How about I see myself in a better light? Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll start seeing myself in a better light. And because I start seeing myself in a better light, what does the law say? Well, then I must become that thing I see. Because it works in the opposite direction. And I don't even want to say opposite. It's not opposite, it just works. If you talk to yourself like you're garbage, you will behave like you're garbage and you will be treated like you're garbage. If you speak to yourself as if you are the queen of your world, you will behave like the queen of your world, and thus you will be treated and respected like the queen in your world. So it doesn't matter which way you choose, they both work by way of law. The question is, what do you want to experience? So now that you know what works and how it works, challenge yourself. Challenge your thinking. I can do this. I can do this. But you see, we want to put a time frame. I want to do this, but I have 3 weeks. Did you live the other thing for 3 weeks? How does it become a habit? It becomes a habit by repetition. You're doing the same thing in the same way every time. Until it does what? Becomes second nature. You no longer have to remind yourself to do anything. If you get up and you go and you put your sneakers on, do you have to remember how to tie your laces or do you just tie them? Well, second nature. Second nature. Why is it called a second nature? It was what you taught yourself to do. It's something you taught yourself to do. That is what it is today. So when you are going to remember or reminisce today, make them good ones. Because you know what happens with the not so good ones. But we must persist. And as I've told you before, persistence doesn't just stop in 3 weeks, 9 weeks, 2 years. If persistence stopped, we would not have such things as generational curses. What those are, they are persistent habits that have been passed down from one person to the next. From one person to the next. This is why they tell you what? A woman raises a nation. That is persistence. A woman raises a nation. She doesn't raise a child, she raises a nation. Why? Because she's teaching Why? Why is she the teacher? Well, a babe at the breast looks its mother in the eyes. That's who it's with the most. That's why she's the first teacher. And that's why it's important that we understand where these things, where these habits come from that we have. So today, understand that persistence does not end, it travels from generation to generation. So the new habit that you are creating today will have an effect, a long lasting effect. So make it a very good one. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't matter if you are dealing with an effect that you don't like. The more you do the effect that you do like, the old effect will fade away because it's no longer being practiced. Things wither and die for want of attention, as per Neville Goddard. So that's what I will leave you with on this beautiful day. Pens, I see you. I see you. You know where you can find me. On YouTube for the last remnants of gravy from the bowl. And starting January, it's June. Good Lord. June the 6th, we have over on Patreon for those who want to learn the laws. If that is you, hit the link in the description and you'll see something called Law School. Click on it and sign up because it's important that we walk in our sovereignty. That if more people learn the law, if more people consciously lived by way of law, we would change our society in the blink of an eye. But slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. One person learns at a time. We learn, we grow. Projection neglecting. Saber, you're awesome. But this is what I'm saying to you. We all have that opportunity. So let's learn the laws. If you do not have the KYBALION yet, go to that link again in my description and you'll see it there. It says purchase the KYBALION. It takes you right to it on Amazon. No, I don't have an Amazon store. That's just the link to make it easy for you. Grab the KYBALION because you're going to need it. A pen or pencil and a journal. And we'll get that party started. Because it is important that we do it. Because we are in a war, my friends. We are. World War III, the war of the mind. So let us, as the scripture says, gird our loins, with our helmets of salvation. What is a helmet of salvation? The law. Breastplate of righteousness? The law. Your shield of faith? The law. Put on the armor of God. What is the armor? The law. The armor is the law, my friends. My beautiful friends. Ty's tidbits, I haven't seen him in a bit. But I trust that makes sense to you today. You don't have to become a casualty. You don't. To prevent that, get your mind right. Get your mind right. I bet you if I say one of those hot topics, you'll know what I'm talking about. Why? Because you hear it all the time. You hear it all the time. Every day, all day you're hearing it. That projection is coming at us. But if you use the law and you see what is happening, it won't faze you. Because you'll know what it is. And you'll begin to see the people who are being used to bring it about. Anyway, that's for another day. I do have a class coming up, and you'll want to be a part of this one. I'm a little hesitant to tell you what it is, but I will send out a note. If you want to be part of my email list, hit me up in Linktree, send me an email, because that's how I'm going to send it out. It's a very sensitive subject, taboo even. But the reason why I want to talk about it is so that we can grasp and understand the law in a much bigger way so that we're not overwhelmed by our habits. We're going to be talking about the most potent habit that is ruling the world right now. I will leave it at that. Countdown initiated. 5, 4. Twitter, I see you. Oh, uh, Zaid, I see you. It's good to see you. Meep and Jeff and Elle, thank you all for being here. It is appreciated, your attendance. I trust things made sense for you today. If not, slide into my DMs and we'll talk about it. Much love, Twitter. Much love to you all. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, you know where you can find me. Thank you all for being here. Medcom, Summer Rose, Miss McQueen, Yolanda, Zola. I know CJ was here for a bit. But thank you all for being here and thank you for the love. It is appreciated. And I will see you. Ooh, we're on tonight with Lance. We're talking about Jonah and the whale. Oh, yes, we are. Where is the law in that scripture? We're going to talk about it tonight on Lance Scurv at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is where we'll be. Were you going to say something, Yolanda, darling?
Oh, no, sorry.
That's okay. It's all right. But that's where we'll be tonight. I got to put up a link for him. Oh, the better man. I see you. I did call your name earlier. Sherelle, you're welcome, honey. So, fanbase, thank you. I'll see you soon. Fanbase is closed. YouTube, Facebook, we remain, darlings. We remain. Let me pop in here and see. I trust that made sense for you guys this morning. If not, you know how to reach me, right? Um, hmm. It is so lovely right now. It really is. It is lovely. I want you guys to get to the point where Zola. I want you guys to get to the point where you know the law because you eat, sleep, and breathe it. You move with it, rock with it, lean with it, you know? Because then you'll watch your lives change. Everybody is using the law, as Neville Goddard says, whether it be wittingly or unwittingly. It is always best to know what you're doing. It is. It's always best to know what you're doing. That's why I tell you every day, apply it. Oh, but Angela, it's so hard to apply the law. I don't know what to do. State the facts. What are the laws? Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, gender. Those are the laws. Get out polarity. Where are you now? What are you feeling right now? Well, then, what would you prefer? You see, the seed of the solution is in the problem. And that's why when you think about your problem, you don't think about the problem as in, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. No, you think about the problem because the solution is right there in it. The solution is in it. Bree, darling. But of course, Zola, yes, you will always see it because you're calling it. You're whispering it through all of the universe, is what you're doing. How so? When you think about it, you are projecting. Science is showing that now that your thoughts don't stay in your mind. They put on those little uh, caps on the person they're studying. They put the cap on with the probes, you know, and so you think about it, and then you can see it. Oh shoot! I read an article about a man. He had this thing implanted in his brain because he was paralyzed. But he had this thing implanted in his brain and he started walking again. Why? Because he told, you see, how it works when you're not injured, when you say stand up, the body stands up because the messages are firing, right? Down the spinal cord for you to move, speak, do things, see things, hear things. But for him, because he was injured and the messages were now interrupted, he couldn't get them where they needed to go. They implanted this thing in his brain, and all he had to do now was think about it, and that's why he's walking. He thought about it and he walked. You and I do that because the messages have not been interrupted in the brain by physical damage. See? I wonder. I'm looking at that thingy there. But I trust that made sense today. You know, we have so much. We have so much, but we're not using it. We have this treasure. We have this treasure, but we're not using it. Use it. If you don't know where to start, polarity is always asking you to acknowledge where you are. It is not asking you to acknowledge where you are because it wants to judge you and beat you up. It's asking you where you are so that you can see the solution for where you want to go. That's what it's asking you to do. The law is not cruel, you know. It's not cruel in any way. It can appear to be cruel. How can it appear to be cruel? Keep ruminating on the same thought. And if that thought is unsavory, well, then the experiences will have to be unsavory. And then, oh my God, the universe is cruel to me. No. The thoughts have to function by way of law. That's all. That's all. Ah, that scripture just popped into my head. Um, we see through a glass darkly, but then that which is perfect is come. Cyber, is that Corinthians? Is that 1 Corinthians 13? I think it is. I think it is. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, right? Then you see the whole instead of parts. Ah, I have to find it. It is 1 Corinthians, if memory serves me correctly. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking for it right now. First Corinthians 13, verse 12. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. Oh, I had to go all the way back. But I know it in the King James version. This is the new international version. Um, or is it because it Shakespeare was just brilliant. There's a new King James version of it. Um, I'm just trying to find it. uh, I'm just trying to find it. You got the revised New American Standard King James version. Oh, tell me that's the one I want. Because it was just something I don't know. Until I read it, I won't know for sure. But I know what I felt just now. Ah, for now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity. So we have to go all the way back to 9. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That scripture is telling us we only have part of the story. Look at how many things in history have been suppressed. We only have part of the story. But you see, the law, even though we only have part of the historical story of humanity, the law is all. The law comes from the all. This is what it is. So when I tell you today, yeah, to learn them and apply them, I'm not kidding. We have no idea how far we can go if we would but apply the law. Apply it, my beautiful friends. Apply it. If you want to learn it, you know where to find me. I teach it to you every day in its entirety. Because half of the information is frustrating. So I give it to you all. So you can use it and create a better existence for yourself. Oh, but that seems so selfish, Angela. If everyone was living their best life, would we not all be better? But each person has to play their part. Why? Because each person is the whole. Oh dear. They tell you that with fractals. Sugar visions. I see you. What's that mean? When you see me, you see her. When you see her, you see me. Right? Like that's what it is. It's that whole fractal. We think we are bits and pieces, but we are whole. We're not bits and pieces. The part that you're looking at, like when you look in the mirror, you see your own face, that part is the whole. Because when you see that, you see the whole, you see the all. You see the tree? It looks like it's a part, but it's all, it's the whole that you're looking at. We only appear to be separate, but we are not separate, nor can we ever be separate. Because we didn't come from separateness, we came from wholeness. And wholeness cannot be separated into little tiny pieces. We are whole because we come from wholeness. We only appear to be parts. We only appear to be parts. Again, we only appear to be parts, but we are whole. WHOLE, entirety. All. That's why the all is in all of us. And we are in the all. You notice how we haven't left the all, but that's for another day. That's part of learning the laws, understanding that we are not separate. We aren't. My, I love you. I love you very, very much. I will see y'all soon. Yes, today at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Bible story Jonah and the Whale. Oh dear. He got gobbled up by the whale. Where's the law in that? We'll find it. And then tomorrow, feel your thought. Oh, but we are going to kick it up a notch. We are going to kick it up a notch. So if you're coming to it, to feel your thought tomorrow night at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bring your favorite whatever that is. Cyber, bring your favorite whatever that is. Your favorite thing. I know some people go to sleep, but like Jamea. I know some people fall asleep, but bring your favorite thing, or at least think of your favorite thing, or bring a picture of your favorite thing. But you get the point. Bring that to tomorrow night's Feel Your Thought, and then I'll explain to you what we're doing with that favorite thing. These are a few of my favorite things, right? Or my Julie Andrews today. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Come out to that tomorrow night. Feel your thought. Bring your favorite thing. And we'll kick it up a notch. What else? And then, I know there's a live stream on Wednesday. There's a lot going on, right? But again, if you want to learn the laws, click on the link in my LINKTREE and sign up for law school. And let's learn the laws, my friends. Let's learn the laws so we can walk and live like champions, because we are champions. Yes, Cyber, I'm looking forward to it too. I'm excited about it. I truly am. Well, 2, 1. Much love, my beautiful friends. I will see you later. I will see you later. I don't know how I'm so perky this morning, but I don't know. I've been awake since the crack of dawn. Well, before the crack of dawn, but I digress. I love you. I'll see you soon. Oh, who just popped into the room? Somebody just popped into here. Somebody just popped right in. Tell me who you are. Are you Brian? Are you Ms. M? Who is it? I don't know who it is, but you're here. Or is it Nancy? Empressella? Synovia? I don't know. But I see you. But parting is such sweet sorrow, my beautiful friends. And I will see you tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, over on Lance Scurv. Okay? Where we will be discussing Jonah and the whale and the law. Oh, yes. And there will be a live stream about that taboo topic, that taboo habit. But we'll sort it out by law. I'm still trying to decide if I want to. I'm still trying to decide if I want to post it here on YouTube. I don't know yet. Yikes! I don't know, but we'll find a way. Where there's a will, there is a way. Peace out, my beautiful friends.